and tell me when you go.
Wait,
Go.
obviously, I went on go.
Okay, we're on.
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
Nice
Yeah.
indeed.
Starting good already.
What a great start.
Starting already. I'm sitting down in my chair. Okay. All right. Shush. All right. First, I like to welcome you guys to the round table 55, patch 55. We have a lot to discuss.
Ooh.
Some major changes, some changes that are being debated right now, and we also got to get to show off the new cards that you guys can get to play with within the next 2 weeks. But first, let me introduce my guest. First, we have a regular on the round table. We have my favorite Frenchman, Eazotop.
Hello.
Yeah, is that all you have to say about yourself?
Absolutely.
All right,
It's supposed
Ezo.
to say
You
much
know him
about
already
us.
anyway. All right, now we have tourney regular, the first KPI champion, and probably the most disqualified player in all of KingPuffCup history, RushSecond.
Hey, I got up at 6 a.m. for this, so
Your
but
opinion,
it's worth it. So
hopefully.
yeah, my opinion means a lot. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, your opinion means a lot.
So thank you. Yeah,
Uh,
hope so.
we have
anyway.
now we have a streamer, streamer for this game. Manager of esports is as he likes to, as we know him as. We have Tengs.
Hey, what? Manager for esport? Just manager
What
for esport team.
Esport team, all right.
Yeah.
Esport team.
Yeah. And I like to mispronounce things, so.
There's no Y in team.
There's no I in team, and we have another streamer, KPC caster, that can of Sprite.
It's one can of Sprite. Oh, that's Sprite. But thank you. Hello.
Sprite. Come on, Sprite. And that should be everyone that we have. Of course, I'm not. We have lastly, we have the man behind the boot, other famous streamer, and the other regular, Video Gamer 77.
Famous? What?
Famous.
I
Famous
don't
in
think that
quotation
exists,
marks.
but yeah.
I was gonna say,
Minion
how can you
Masters
forget him?
thing.
What
It's
if the
the
stream
China
suddenly
thing.
turned off?
The stream turns off because gamers handling it. Fine.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's move on to the first slide. Let's talk about this very small but big change. I guess you can put it like that. Yep. So we're talking about Black Hole, a very famous card among the top level players. It could widely considered to be one of the best cards in the game, probably in the top 3. Would you guys say top 3 for sure?
Definitely.
I mean,
Yeah.
top
No
card in the game.
contest on that.
Period. Before.
It's getting a hit here.
I
The
mean,
mana-
yeah, overall.
But not anymore, it's not anyways.
Yeah, not anymore.
It's getting a hit here from 2 mana. It's going up to 3 mana, and as we've seen before, when these 1 mana changes happen, they actually really mean a lot to this game. They really impact the card. So let's go down the line. Let's start with Rush. Rush. Let's start with you. What do you think of this change?
So, if you read my post about hard counters, you know how I kind of feel about cards like this. I kind of think Black Hole is a design mistake, and don't really like how it functions for like hard countering spells. So anything that gets Black Hole closer to unplayable, I am hugely in favor for. And this is a good first step toward that, at least. Like,
Gonna
it
make
no
it
longer,
unplayable,
counters
like
stun
Prowler.
blast. Yes, if it was as unplayable as Prowler, I'd be very happy. But anyways, so there's no longer really counter Stun Blast or Healing Fireball or Rampage because it just costs the same as those. So if you're negating those, you're not really getting anywhere. And is a little bit weaker against like Beam and Fireball. It doesn't get quite as much mana value countering them. And then, but still on the other side of that is like the worst thing about this is now if there is no spells to counter, it's gonna be really hard to find good value for 3 mana just like using this to like do minion tricks. Because I mean 3 mana is not an insignificant amount. That's a warrior that you're losing by playing this instead. So it's gonna be it's gonna be hard to justify having this in your deck for just general use cases.
Yeah, let's go to Ezo. Your turn.
I have pretty much the same opinion on the rock paper scissors type of gameplay that I do not really like it. The fact that this change comes at the same time as the Beam of Doom change is probably not coincidence, because those two cards have pretty strong rock paper scissors interactions in the fact that Beam of Doom is often very good value unless it gets black hole. And the fact that Beam of Doom has been slightly nerfed would have probably been out of the game completely if it wasn't for the black hole change coming at the same time. I would have liked maybe something like a different change to the black hole, like maybe instead of being 7 seconds, keep it at 2 mana, but make it like 1 or 2 seconds, so you can still negate
wait
some...
there. That's crazy if you make it 1 or 2 seconds. You get the reset and attack every 1 or 2 seconds.
I'm not finished. I was going to say, and it doesn't reset the attacks, but instead actually stops the animations altogether. Like, not like a stun, because stuns does reset attacks, but like you reduce the amount of use you could get out of it, but make it specifically a way to counter very short amount of like burst spells like Fireball. Maybe use the black hole exclusively to stop that instead, so it wouldn't be such a multi-purpose spell. But yeah, just bumping it to 3 mana could be enough to make it more in line with other spells. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, let's have a lighter opinion. Let's Tengs, you wanna give us your opinion on black hole?
I'm gonna be agreeing with Eazotop. I don't think the mana change was correct, but they shouldn't rather change the spell itself. Maybe make it smaller, just so the impact is lower, duration lower, have a harder delay, make it harder to use. Because the increased mana cost, it's devastating. Because it's 50% more mana you're paying. And in all games, when you do something like that, it drastically changes the way it's played. And it's a high skill, high reward card. So, I don't know. Just think they should have changed Black Hole itself, not just up the mana cost. I think that's a lazy way of doing it.
All right. Ken, up to you.
I think combined with the black hole changes, black holes. I think combined with the Beam of Doom changes, black hole's a dead card. I think it's dead.
We finally killed it.
Yep. I don't think this card's gonna get played anymore. Like, I don't think people are gonna consciously put this in a deck, and you can't even get it off APEP perk one. So what's the point?
Oh yeah, right. That's actually big for APEP.
It is. It's a big thing for It's a bit. It's kind of a big indirect nerf in APEP, but in general, I just think this card's dead. I cannot see myself putting this in a deck now after this change.
Still good against Beam of Doom.
I'd rather play Guardian or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not as good, but it's still good against Beam of Doom.
Ooh, good sound up. Let's have a gamer. You're up last for this hitting order for once.
I mean, I kind of agree a lot with Sprite there. I feel like it might just be a dead card now. And I was going to bring up, if no one had yet, until Sprite, about it being an APEP nerf. Can't get it for the free perk anymore, which it was an amazing card to get there for free. And
one of the best.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One of the greatest cards. One of the greatest things you can actually get from any of the future cards as well as a black hole.
Yeah.
Eliminates the use of play interacting.
Are you denying the 1 mana of the Plasma Marines? That's the best one.
Black Hole has not. So Black Hole, just to clarify, Black Hole has not innately changed. All they did was increase the mana cost.
Yeah.
To people asking in the chat, what I think about it is I think it's okay. I feel like people will still find a way to play Black Hole just because it's such an overall useful card. Definitely gonna be, but it's definitely not an instant include anymore. It's gonna be very sparsely used. Like, yeah, you're probably gonna use it if you have a plan around it, but if not, you're probably just gonna opt to just do something else, right?
Yeah. I was
Like
thinking,
chocolate.
one thing I was thinking just now too was that I was considering, maybe it's to be played in Mortar because you would like to control your reses, but I mean, 3 mana to control the res feels like a lot of mana to spend on attempting to
Think
control a
about it though.
res.
If you get 3 mana, use 3 mana to force the Colossus respawn.
Yeah, if you can, I guess.
You
So yeah,
still
maybe.
you still have the minion use of it. Like you black hole your unit that hitting face and the enemy units don't aggro on them and just
Yeah.
walk by. You still have those type of uses that sometimes win you games.
Yeah, well, for me, won me game a lot with my double Scott deck, which I haven't got to
Yeah,
play
exactly.
enough of it. Yeah, I think I only played 2 games, and I got countered anyways. So I'm gonna test it some more. So
Sometimes
like
it wins you games, but I still think it's like, even at 2 mana, I think a use like that is still pretty situational. At 3 mana, it's gonna be hard to justify that.
yeah,
That's what I'm
But
thinking.
I still think that you can justify it. That's the thing. It's such a strong effect. Reset Cleaver protects something from beam or like fireball. There's so many things you can do with the card that I don't think it's dead underwater just yet. I think it's definitely not an instant include. I just don't think it's dead yet. And
I don't think it's quite dead either, just for the fact that like there's still like fireball it can counter. It can kind of counter beam somewhat. I mean, we haven't touched on that yet, so I guess we'll just move on.
I guess we're moving on to the next slide now. Gamer changes slide. We're talking about Ghost Turret. It's going down from. You call that? It's going down from 6. 8 range to
2.
6 range.
8 to 6, yes.
8 range, 6 range. This is a very big. I'll just put a general summary. This makes it completely lose the Plasma Marines, which is which before was just, it was trading. It was basically destroying pretty much everything in the game. So let's start with the other side this time. Gamer, you're going up first.
I feel like it's a dead card now. I know yesterday me and you discussed it being only like a defensive card now that you play pretty much behind your master or behind a wall, and that's the only way to play it anymore. I feel like. I don't know.
Yeah, but like,
I feel like it could have been nerfed in a different way than range. That's my opinion on it.
As I said, I'll wait till the end to give my opinion. But
Yeah.
as I said, like yesterday, I think it was the right way to go. Let's say, Rush, since I'm for sure you're in the same mind of gamers here. Can you explain your thoughts on this change?
Yeah, it's. I'm happy that Ghost Turret was nerfed because I think it was a bit too strong, but this seems like a really weird way to nerf it. It makes it very hard to use it for its intended purpose of just like placing it like far away from an approaching melee line and then like shooting down like a blue golem or something. I know that was it was definitely way too strong with the damage it had, like 62.5 DPS.
Yeah.
But now it's just, the problem is that all the range stuff that's behind the ghost turret is gonna like chip it down. Even if it kills the blue golem, it can't deal anything about the ranged units. And also, if there's no like really good targets for this ghost turret, it's not gonna really have a good defensive use because it's so easily countered by a card that like everyone is playing. So I think if I were to nerf the ghost turret, I would have done something like decreased its DPS but also increased its health a little, trying to make it like a little bit more like a wall and less of a huge DPS ground killer thing. So
yeah, because like before it was just killing everything. The problem was it was just so good defensively. It was just killing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really had a chance to interact with it properly. It's countering Rammer.
Yeah, which it doesn't now, which is good, but I feel like it shouldn't with the DPS decrease, not the rage decrease.
All right, Can, you're an old player. What's your opinions on this?
Well, this change just makes me say I'm just gonna swap them for magma cannons.
Magma cannon is pretty good.
Well, I feel like when magma cannon came out, people kind of overestimated its inferiority to Ghost Turret. I think people were just too used to being Ghost Turret being way too good. I think this is definitely an over nerf for Ghost Turret. It didn't need a change this drastic. So I'm just gonna play Magma Cannon now. I can't think of any of my decks that I'd want to use the new Ghost Turret in.
What if they gave back Ghost Turret's ability to hit air?
I'd probably still prefer Magma Cannon just for the range.
Just for
the range is more. The range is more important than the ability to hit air by far.
All right.
Yeah, Dragon Mobs are much easier to deal with than a Plasma Marine chipping away or a Ghost Turret out of range.
Yep.
Which is part of why Stormbringer is so annoying to deal with if you're playing a turret deck.
Yeah, the Stormbringer it goes. How far does it go? It goes even over past the bridge plus 2 range, right?
It went just about over the bridge.
Which is crazy. They just die before they can even get to the bridge, which is pretty scary. As we see in Stormbringer Control has been such a dominant deck in general.
It still will be. That is going to play Magma Cannon. This doesn't stop that deck.
We have to see because that adds a problem to the cycle. That's why I'm not so sure yet.
Obviously the cycle's going to be weaker and they're going to have to pay 1 mana more now for their deck than before, but they're also less vulnerable to air units, which they weren't to begin with.
All right. Let's move on to Ezo. Ezo, what's your opinion on this nerf?
I like the change a lot. Just touching on the idea of replacing it with Magma Cannon, as it's been mentioned, the Magma Cannon is 1 more mana. So especially if you used to play 2 Ghost Turrets, and if you replace it with 2 Magma Cannon, that's a lot more mana that you have to spend. The fact that also Magma Cannon has the same DPS but a very slower attack means that it was not technically as good, even though they have the same DPS. I think it's 0.8 seconds for a Ghost Turret attack, and it's 1.2 for the Magma Cannon, which is a 50% slower attack speed. When it comes to dealing with a swarm of units, the Ghost Turret was vastly superior. For the big units, it was the same, but for the swarm of units, the Ghost Turret was vastly superior, which means that the Ghost Turret was pretty much always better to put in your deck. The fact that the range has been nerfed, I would also like to see this happen to the Magma Cannon if it becomes strong enough to be oppressive. The main issue, I think, with the Ghost Turret that led them to this nerf was that you could pretty much play the Ghost Turret just at the bridge or at the exact middle against the river, and it would be able to shoot across the middle to unit that would be put there for the split. You couldn't split Plasma Marines if you had a Ghost Turret in front of you at the middle. And you could have the Ghost Turret just guard the bridge, and since most range units have 8 range, they would not step onto the bridge and be countered by the Ghost Turrets, which means that you could have your Ghost Turret effectively help you keep bridge control, whereas now you cannot do this type of placement. And now you have the Ghost Turrets, as Gamer said, you can pretty much only use it once you have a tank to absorb damage near your face or behind your master, which I think should be the purpose of the Ghost Turret. I like the fact that it has a very high DPS for its cost, because it's a defensive building, so it doesn't have the same utility as units. So it should be overstated in comparison to other units.
I completely agree with you there. One of the things I think was really good when they removed this was the ability for Storm, and for Stormbringer to just put it in the middle, and for APAP to just put it in front of the bridge, and then they'd be able to just and that play would be safe for them in all technicality. This makes it more dangerous to play, and I approve of that. Lastly, we have Tengs to give his opinion on Ghost Turret.
I'm gonna just say most of my opinions have already been shared, so I'm just gonna touch on the way there's a time limit on the Ghost Turret regarding its lower health. That it should rather be a timed, that instead of it losing health, so it could be more tanky. like not by a lot. I think the percentage is not a lot. I don't have knowledge to dip, so instead it should have just a fixed timer. I agree with the changes that it should be nerfed, but maybe not in this way. Range could be changed, but right now it feels like yeah, Magnetar is better. But it's 1 mana up, and it's not that quick of a play, and it's defensive, and you can't move it around, so I don't know. It feels counterintuitive, like can't speak today.
Counterintuitive.
Counterintuitive.
Yeah, thank you. Counterintuitive to play.
Yeah, and it kind of does, but at the same time, it's more. It is a 1 mana cheaper Magma Cannon that you can still play on your side of the field if you have something tanking already. So it's like a good defensive card still.
And that's why I feel like when a card depends on another card, that's not good design. Like the card should have a good role in itself, and if it doesn't have a unique role, like if it doesn't fill a space on its own, I don't think it's good to have in the game. Because when the second you put in like this, you have to play this with this, you're forcing people to take a path instead of them experimenting and finding their own way. So yeah, good as it changed, but maybe not the way I wanted. But maybe it's just my general opinion on buildings that they die so quickly. They like good for like 5 seconds and then they're done.
Humans, in general, buildings these days are not like the top tier cards. Just outside of the Ghost Turret, buildings these days weren't the top tier cards they used to be. Like, how many patches was the Bridge Shrine nerf now? Like 10 patches back, I feel.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's been a while. Like,
Good
God.
riddance.
But yeah, and every time buildings are popular, we lose players.
I wonder why.
But let's move on. We have to talk about.
Can I chip in on Ghost Turret one last time?
Yeah, go.
I just want to say that if Betadorf wants to keep this lower range but realize that Ghost Turret's like too bad now, if that's really the case, then they can start buffing its health. I think that would be the most appropriate. Like I said,
Ooh.
I
like that idea.
It becomes a tankier unit, but the range unit still can pound on it.
Gotta make sure it doesn't outclass Wall if you increase the health, but.
Oh, I'm not saying give it 1500 health, but yeah, just
of
more
course
than
don't make it a wall. I hate walls.
If you decide to buff its health, though, there's a fine line you're gonna have to walk on that to not make it redundant. But I do like the idea of buffing the health to give it that identity.
You could increase the health and lower the duration, so it doesn't completely compete with the wall and overshine it.
Just make it melee.
I mean, kind of what they did already.
Yeah, that's right. Like, except for the interaction with second.
No, Wall needs like a little wooden sword that pokes at things.
There's a new card idea. 5 mana, fortified wall. It reflects damage to whoever attacks it.
The crumbling wall.
It's just a wall with a bunch of spikes on the front. There you go. It's like an afternoon's work for the intern.
There we go. We're doing work. All right. So let's talk about this next very controversial change. Beam of Doom. It's gone down to 300 damage from 400, and it starts to deal damage faster. A lot of people play this card, and a lot of people will praise this card as being one of the greatest cards in the game. Like, design-wise and early on, at least early on, design-wise and actual power-wise. So, and now it finally gets touched. Let's start with an opinion. Probably one of the stronger opinions here. Rush, you had the strongest opinion with Beam, so let's start with you.
So yeah, I think that Beam of Doom, like if Black Hole didn't exist, like Beam of Doom as it was just the most brokenly overpowered card in the game, because it just kills pretty much any minion you play down, and if you like stack 2 minions on top of each other to try and make some sort of threatening push, then just Beam of Doom, it's all dead. And you that's pretty much why Black Hole was run so much, is to stop that from happening. You had to, because this just did way too much damage. And now it does a bit less, so it does 280 to Masters. I'm pretty sure it does double that to minions, because the tooltip is kind of bugged right now.
There's a bug right now where it's doing 20 less damage or something.
It's
Yeah.
probably missing the final tick because of the new duration.
Maybe. Anyways, so the thing is with the black hole change, now it's, well, for one thing, black hole costs more, so it's a much bigger risk to run to try and counter black hole, because you're really going to be sad in the cases when the enemy doesn't have beam and you do have black hole, because that black hole is kind of just going to be a dead card the whole game in that case. But now if you said like, okay, screw black hole, we don't like that card anymore, I'll just try to deal with beam without it, 560 damage to minions is still a lot. Like, that really hurts blue golems still. Like, it doesn't outright kill them anymore, but I'm really thankful for that, but it's still going to do a lot of damage and kill like anything that's trying to support the blue golem as well. So I kind of think that the damage worth wasn't enough. Like, it should have gotten damage nerfed a little bit more than this. At least as far as minions go. I'm still at least happy that the damage to masters was nerfed a little bit, because like the triple beam strategy just like burn spell down the masters were really obnoxious, and this of course hurts that a lot. So
You know who to blame for that, right?
Yeah, fuck you, gamer.
I didn't do anything.
You did this to us. So yeah, continue, Rush.
well, that's pretty much it. I want to give other people a chance to talk.
All right, so I guess we move on then. Gamer, you were the father of this triple beam idea. This is your fault. Defend yourself.
Son's been murdered.
I felt like beam was a fine card, but that's also because I felt like pretty much every deck should have black hole in it. I mean, one of my main thoughts about it was blue golem's actually a playable card now, because it doesn't instantly die to beam. Like, so I literally refused to play blue golem because it just died to beam. Like, there was no reason to play it. So it's actually a playable card now. So I like that. Hopefully they fix the bug and it does the correct damage. That'd be nice. But I don't know.
In fact, I want to point out that I already lost a game when playing because of the bug damage. Like, I tried to kill someone with 285 health left. I like put beam on them, and stopped playing and emoted. And then it didn't kill them. They were left with 5 HP, even though they had less than 300 to start with, and I lost.
Yeah.
Dang it, Rush!
Feels bad, man.
Finish your games. The BM is real. Alright, so Gamer, move on.
Yeah, I think I'm good, I guess.
You're good. You're happy that your son died.
I mean, I tried a double beam deck after this, and it still worked okay. I mean, I was double beaming Colossus and stuff, which is a lot of mana. I still won the game. I don't know. I think I was against Steven, though, so.
Nice. You're still like Steven. Feels good, man. Alright, we're moving on from Gamer. Sprite.
Do you want to do me last? Because I'm going to go over the math I did.
Oh yeah, you're
That's
right.
fine,
You
yeah.
have a lot to say.
That'll
about
probably
this.
take. That'll probably take
you're
longer.
right.
That's a good
You're
idea.
Absolutely right. Ezo, you're next then.
I like the change. I didn't like the fact that you could. I've had over the last few days a bunch of decks that just run Rammers and Beam of Doom and just go for face over and over, and every time you play some defense it gets Beam of Doom and you take face damage, and at some point you can pretty much stop the Rammers in time, but you're also low in health already. They just have to kind of defend and cycle Beam of Doom to face, which I think was a pretty boring strategy to play against. So the nerfing the face damage is already something I like the change for. Also, as it's been discussed, some cards like the Blue Golem are now more viable, and the nerf to Black Hole coming at the same time makes the interaction between the Black Hole and the Beam of Doom more interesting, because you could Beam of Doom a pack of units and Black Hole and save everything. Now, because the Beam of Doom starts doing damage earlier, the Black Hole doesn't completely counter it, and you can still deal some damage before the Black Hole takes effect and saves the big dudes, but the small dudes already died, which I think makes the interaction less polarized between the two cards. which I like.
All
So
right.
yeah, that's pretty much what I have.
All right. Tengs, lead the second to last.
Yeah. Once upon a time, there was a guy who participated in KPC, and he got up against RushSecond, and then RushSecond beamed him 3 times in face and won.
Oh. Yeah, that did happen at some point.
Thanks, Rush. Thanks.
I mean, yeah, I'm partially to blame for this nerf, but I'm happy that it happened anyway.
Yeah, no, I
For the greater
like,
good, Tengs. That's what your sacrifice was.
this is your sacrifice. But yeah, it takes what, like 1 more or 2 more beams to finish someone off now. I didn't do the math earlier because I'm dumb. I think it's 2 more. Yeah, it's probably 2 more. So yeah.
Oh, it's Tengs. I think he disconnected.
He probably is trying. He'll come back in a bit. So yeah, so I think the beam change was kind of necessary actually, but like I think it was part of a bigger scale problem we had. I feel like we as the game hasn't decided what is the perfect numbers yet to do that for face damage, because like we also had that issue where people were complaining about Boko spam and like how it did so much damage over time, direct damage. The key word here is direct. So again, I think it's gonna be an overall. This is just part of a long process that the devs have to decide on, like what is a comfortable number for everyone involved for like direct damage. And now with my opinion out of the way, Can you have the map to this? Can you explain this to us?
All right, so just the basic numbers. New beam is 600 damage over 2.7 seconds total, with the 0.7 second delay. Old beam was 800 over 2 with the 1.5 second delay. So here's the damage per second of the beams. The new beam is 214.2 damage per second, while the old beam is 400. And I decided to do a bit of a case study on Drone Force 1 to assess what this change means. Now, to save the Drone Force 1 from dying with a black hole, you have 0.5 seconds less time to react. In total, you only have a 0.7 second window to save Drone Force on the black hole, and it's completely impossible to stop it taking damage. So, Mephisto's crying right now, pretty much.
Poor Mephisto.
Black hole is significantly affected by Beam of Doom, because that was like the one counter to Beam of Doom, was black hole. Although now, I suppose Healing Shrine's now pretty good as well, countering it.
Actually, Healing Shrine,
though.
Oh yeah, Healing Shrine. We haven't brought that up. Healing Shrine's got massively
Healing Shrine
buffed by this change.
It's not
all
enough.
the changes here, it was an indirect buff to Healing Shrine. We don't have a slide for it because technically it wasn't a direct change. But like because all these changes happened, Healing Shrine is significantly a much better card because of it.
It's not enough though.
Is it? We'll see. We'll see in a couple days.
Healing is like 100 per second, and the Beam of Doom still does more than 100 per second.
Yeah, it's 200 per second.
Yeah, but it makes it easier to sustain larger minions. If they like drop a beam while stuff's shooting it to try and like kill it quickly, Healing Shrine will prevent that now.
Healing Shrine already prevents
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
You could
It's not going to save mid-range minions, which I believe is what the new Beam of Doom's identity is. You can't chuck new Beam of Doom on big minions. It doesn't really work anymore. It's too easy to get healed up afterwards. It's more effective about killing a bunch of mid-range minions, like say someone's like stacks a warrior, an annihilator, and a succubus together. Beam's much better at dealing with that than it is with like a golem or something now. So I like the change, honestly. I didn't like the old Beam of Doom. I didn't like its design, but I think the new one's still playable. I think it has still got a purpose, and it's for dealing with those mid-range decks.
Yeah, mid-range decks are... Guardian decks in particular are still like a deck I feel that a lot of people don't experiment with enough.
I think
Guardian is so annoying.
I think the new Beam of Doom, though, is definitely substantially worse against the Guardian decks. I think Guardian decks got a whole lot better with this.
Alright.
I mean, this beam, if it's like going down on a 3 or more units, like the Guardian's protected, the Guardian's gonna die even before you can react and black hole in time. So I think it's actually much better against Guardian than before.
Yeah, it really depends on opinion in this one, because like being able to deal almost like Beam is basically almost guaranteed damage now, versus much bigger damage.
I like
But
how responsive it feels now too. Like the damage starts feels much more instant. I kind of like it.
Right. I feel like we talked about Beam enough because we need to move on because the next change is really big and it's really a lot of people have been talking about it and a lot of people are not happy. At the same time, happy about these changes. We need to talk about the Millow rework. This
is the big one.
This is the painful one to talk about because we don't. A lot of people have very. It's a very jaded subject.
There's been riots on the street over this one.
All right, so I'll explain the changes in a nutshell. As it says on the slide, Perk 1 and Perk 2 have been swapped. So you get your turtle sooner. You don't get arcane missiles, but you get them later. Arcane missiles have been nerfed back to their base damage, the old damage of 150, and it only costs 0 mana now. It only costs 0 mana. That's wrong. Well, all right, but
get your arcane missiles. Only 0 mana. Woo!
Woo! Perk 3 now instead of being -1 mana on spells if you control the top bridges, now it just gives you the golem with 5 stacks already, which is pretty big actually. It's actually quite a big golem with 5 stacks, and the entire arcane golem has a new scaling system. But first, because it's the smaller of the changes, let's talk about arcane missiles becoming perk 2 and and the damage going down. How do you feel about this? Let's start with Tengs, because you're the Milloween player here.
I don't know, damage felt too high already, but if we're going to touch on missiles, I don't agree with making it 0 mana, because that just means all the golems are, you get first golem, it's level 2 already, and after perk 3 it's already level 6, that seems weird, because you're not really investing anything in a 0 mana cycle card. And missiles should be nerfed, I agree on that, but maybe not in this way.
I don't know, the missiles becoming perk 2 was really weird in my opinion as well.
Yeah, it's weird because, I don't know, it's a good board clear, but it's also a lot of face damage, if you want to go that path. So I agree on it being touched on. It's hard to hit for new players.
Especially for pets.
It's hard to hit for old players.
Yeah, well, not Beam of Doom. You just place it on face, or not anymore. But I don't know. I sort of like and dislike. I like it's 0 mana because it means I can use it, but I don't like it because I can abuse it. So yeah, I'm excited to just try it out for a week and then see how it goes.
All right. Let's move on from a Tengs to I'm gonna pick a name from the hat. Sprite, you're next.
Hi. I'm honestly probably the most conflicted by the Milloween changes. I think right now she's going through growing pains. I don't think we really know how this is going to pan out in the long run. I agree that missiles being perk 2 is very strange. I don't know if that's quite what they should have done with it, but I like the new Arcane Golem. I'm probably the one person that actually likes it. I kind of like the, just making it basically a ranged warrior, pretty much. That's what it basically is. It's a ranged warrior that scales with spells. I think I prefer that to the game-winning, just absolute truck of destruction.
With 25 stacks turtle with what do you call it? 25 infusions stacked on it as well.
Yeah, I didn't like that Milloween, but
lightning bolt. Where's my lightning bolt?
I've given a few playthroughs with the new Milloween, and I kind of like it. I think she's not good late game at all now. I think it's kind of flipped around, which is much better in the early game when you don't really have the resources to deal with the Arcane Golem. But I think we need to see how this pans out.
Yeah, especially with a slide that's coming up. There's a slide that we have that might actually change how we see Milloween.
Yeah.
Because the problem right now is we haven't seen all of the cards that they had planned when they made these changes. So, Gamer, you're next.
I'm gonna put the other slide up for now too, just so people can start looking at it.
Yeah, you can put up the other side so people can start looking. But we'll go back around the table
As
when
far
when we
as
get there.
all the change, I as well. The missiles on perk 2 are really weird. It feels really weird. I don't feel like I've played enough of the new Millow to get a feel for how what a good deck is. But I honestly couldn't I feel like in a good deck for Millow you still have to play 6 spells if you want the golem to get big early game. Otherwise it's never gonna get past level 6. And if you're playing 3 or 4 spells, maybe level 7 early game until you hit perk 3. Which a lot of people as well as me, perk 3 just kind of seems meh. So I don't know. I definitely want to play it some more and try to find better decks to test it some more. But I just so far with what I was doing, I just didn't like it. It didn't feel smooth at all. So
Again, gamer, we were talking about the missile change first.
mm-hmm.
So, Ezo, let's move next.
All right.
Missiles first, turtle later.
So missiles first.
Yeah.
Just the missiles then?
Yeah, you can just talk about the missiles. Just you know what? Add your turtle opinion already since gamer already fired off.
All right.
Thank you,
All
gamer.
Right.
Yeah.
About the missiles, the fact that they deal 150 instead of 200 isn't big a change. The fact that it's 0 mana instead of 1 is a pretty big change, though. But if you compare it to, for instance, Daka, that's probably you can control it a bit more, but your opponent has a bit more say. There are more counterplays to the missiles than to the Daka. I don't mind it being perk 2. I think the point was to make Milloween a bit more early game focused, as it's been said already. And I think that was a pretty well. That's what they achieved, right? Like the fact that you have a better Arcane Golem now, and that it requires less spell to be effective, means that the Milloween identity can really shine earlier. I like the new stat change, the fact that it cannot go really high and be out of control in the late game, like it was at some point when you could just cycle spells so fast when you had the 5-minute mana acceleration. So that was pretty oppressive, and I think the new turtle is way more manageable without having very specific counters to it. So I like it, both playing it and against it. I think that's a good change. I would, however, say that the perk 3 is probably the worst perk 3 in the game, and that's counting rat bows. So the fact that it starts at perk 5, and I'm going to fight Uncle on this, he said that it's to allow Milloween players to not play spell-heavy decks. And I would say then what's the point of playing Milloween in the first place? Because when I make a deck, if I want to make it spell-heavy, I want to play it with Milloween. And if the game is balanced around a Milloween deck that is not spell-heavy, then that means that the turtle should be effective with few stacks. But then if you make a deck that is spell-heavy, then the turtle is too strong. So the perk 3 doesn't really make sense to me. I would much rather have it increase the maximum number of stacks to 15 or something to make the turtle scale up in the late game better and make it a really impactful perk.
Yeah, that's I think the main problem a lot of people have right now. It's just the perk doesn't feel so impactful. Rush, you're the last one, I believe.
All right, and I did play around with Milloween yesterday after the changes went live. So, I can
the 5-minute server or the when they went live.
Live, like actual ladder playing Milloween at Grandmaster rank 4. So, I've got a little bit of experience to talk about. So, I like the missile change. Like nerfing its damage, but making it 0 mana. I think overall is a buff. It's more impactful to have less mana cost, so it's like more available to use to buff Arcane Golem, and like the losing 50 damage really isn't that big a deal. That said, as a whole, for a perk 2, comparing it to things like Volko's Burn Bridges or like Ratbow's Daka, I mean those are obviously like really, really powerful perk 2s. So I'm not surprised it's not quite as good as those, but still, it's kind of arcane missiles kind of still on the weak side. Perk 2.
Tengs, stop!
What is
Tengs!
that noise?
Tengs, why are you blowing into your mic? Ow! Alright, thanks,
He muted
Tengs.
himself.
So I think
Fix it.
if Milloween's too weak with this, and I think she kind of is a little bit on the weak side, but not by that much. But arcane missiles is a good point to look for buffs. I really like the new arcane golem stats because like it's actually pretty useful just when you put it down for 3 mana. Like it holds its own against most other things that are 3 mana. Not only that, but like it can't really get out of control ever, which I really like because it was really annoying to just lose to Milloween decks that just managed to make it to perk 2 and then they just spam their whole deck of spells, and suddenly if you don't have like some hard counter to the arcane golem, you just lose the game. It's spell spam and like 1200 plus health arcane golem constantly getting healed. So having it capped and having it like gain less per spell is way better. And also, like people said, like Ezo said, it makes Milloween a bit less reliant on having a full spell deck. Now you can have a Milloween deck with like 5-6 spells and she'd be still pretty good. The one big point of failure for this rework is Milloween's perk 3. Like I said, it seems totally garbage. It's just like a half a spirit infusion and some damage that's forcefully applied onto the arcane golem only.
You still have to play mana for.
Yeah, you still have to pay the 3 mana to get that, and it makes this, and it's still capped at 10. So, if you were playing enough spells to get it past level 5 before perk 3, now it just feels like you're wasting your mana. It's really horrible. I think if perk 3 like gave it a little bit more levels, like level 6 or 7 when you play arcane golem, but also like increases the max stacks to 20 at that point, then that would be a much more impactful perk 3.
What if it gave it Frenzy?
That's another idea. It could just like give it a special effect that
I think ways to increase its damage, like outside of just like giving it a flat level, would be interesting, like Rage or Frenzy, or even both, considering it's just one minion that gets buffed.
Yeah, true. So those are some ideas of how it can be buffed. But overall, I really like the way they rebalance the stats on the arcane golem, and I'm bravo to Beta Dwarf for doing that. That's something that really needed to be done.
The main goal, I think, of the rework, when I was talking to FDM, and I'm just gonna read off notes I wrote at the time, was they wanted to get rid of the infinite scaling because they felt it was completely unfair at the point when you get. And they wanted to make it a numbers game. They didn't want to make it so what do we do with Milloween? And then it was like a bunch of like random things. They wanted to just like they wanted to make it like, oh, do we just have to increase the golem's HP now? Do we just have to decrease this something or something like that? So in that perspective, they succeeded in a way, I guess. But I just feel I think they shot too low. They were probably too scared of making it too strong initially, and I think it was Dip that was talking about it yesterday. Perk 1 does not even feel like a perk 1. It feels like you got a warrior in your deck.
Can I shoot in a change that would be fun?
Alright, shoot it in.
Because I don't like perk 3 at all. I feel it's lazy game design and not very. It doesn't bring anything to the table. But perk 3 could be replace all your minions in your deck with arcane golems.
What? No, make every minion have an make every minion in your deck get an arcane stack.
No.
Get arcane
God.
I'm actually considering that, and that actually sounds amazing.
Well, that's funny. I don't think they should do that.
I don't think
so.
I don't think they should do it, but it's fun to think about.
They should do that for like an event, like for like a random like how Hearthstone has Tavern Brawls.
Yeah.
Like all your minions in your decks are now arcane golems. Go wild.
How about something like
Great idea. Yes, Uncle.
They like forcefully put in like 3 arcane golems and 7 arcane missiles into their decks.
Yeah, someone hacked the game when Milo first came out and did that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I remember that. It was crazy.
I would like to point out something James said in chat. Perk 3 giving it like splash damage, which sounds really cool, because I do believe in Force Showdown the arcane golems did AoE damage as well. So I kind of think giving it splash damage would be interesting.
I have a suggestion also for the Perk 3 maybe rework. Like I already shot one, but it was pretty basic and not really inspired.
Yeah, go. We might as well go all the way.
Yeah, if you guys play the battle rights, there's a champion called Esmo that can put down like a sort of totem that would duplicate his attacks. And I think it could be interesting to have, when you reach Perk 3, when you shoot the arcane missile, the turtle shoot them at the same angle you aim.
Maybe.
Yep.
Maybe actually that sounds pretty cool. Like having the golem mirror the missiles.
Yeah.
That sounds viable. Why do you come with these at these? It's a good idea. Don't do that.
Don't do this. We need memes. We need memes here. What are we? Some kind of serious roundtable discussion?
I'm sorry.
If Dip gets his way, we are.
Oh, I've got an idea then. Perk 3 makes the arcane golden fire boomers.
Sounds balanced.
Sounds balanced.
Melody,
Ship
even
it.
before Xiaolong got buffed, Milloween never saw play.
Yeah.
It's a Milla problem, even with Xiaolong around. She just never saw play outside of one deck that deserved to be nerfed to the ground. I'm sorry for my language.
Don't invoke its name.
Don't invoke its name. It's probably gonna get mad at me later, but whatever. All right, let's move on to some fun things. Let's talk about the new cards that Cam got to reveal to us in the Discord.
Was I really the first to get that?
Yeah, you were the first to get the Curse Bearer.
Oh, neat.
Oh, in our Discord?
Alright.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so let's talk about Curse Bearer. New card, boys. It's
Yay.
basically an Undying Skeleton without rezzing, but it has a ranged AoE for 6 range. It will curse every enemy ground unit, not air units. Air units do not get cursed as of now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently. So
Yeah, it does
Ken,
not hit
you were
air
the first one
with the curse.
You were the first one to get this card and play with it. Let's hear your opinion. You were the first one to touch this.
Play with it? Oh yeah, play with it. Yeah. I actually haven't tried the card out yet.
Dang it, Ken!
I have-
pretty busy this morning, but from my first impressions
Pick me,
of the
Sasha.
card,
Pick me.
it I think this card's amazing. I love this card. I just love everything about it. I don't think it's particularly overpowered, but that's something we're gonna have to see in the next few days, seeing as this card literally got revealed today. Like, what, 4 hours ago or so is when I got it?
Yeah, 4 hours.
Yeah. It's a brand new card. I honestly, I just love it. I think the cost's alright. I think having the Undying Skeleton stats is perfect for it, because it's weaker than the Warrior. I like the effect. I like the fact that it lingers. I just like everything about it, really. There's nothing I can really complain about this card, especially since the fact that its curse effect only affects ground units. It can't hit the air stuff, meaning it still gets countered by stuff where it welts quite easily.
Alright, so let's talk to the other person that played the card.
The one that actually played it.
Yeah, I got it and threw 3 in a mortar deck, because you feel like you played a mortar, you know, and it seems okay. I definitely don't think you should play 3 of them. That's the first thing I came up with. Unless, maybe my deck just needs changed, so I don't know. But I actually don't like that it doesn't hit air, but maybe this is because I just don't like whelps, because they're horrible and stuff. But it's nice.
Good against them.
Like the after it does die, like especially in slow minions, it's gonna do 20% of their HP, their max HP too. So that's really cool. Like a good way to, even after throwing it dies, it's gonna do like 20% of the golem's HP still, just because it's gonna stand on that order. As long as, I don't know if it stays in the order the whole time. I guess if it's what killed it.
What's the what?
The size of the aura.
6, range of 6.
Yeah,
It's
it's
6
yeah.
around in a circle, so technically it's a range of 12, with the skeleton being in the middle.
Wait,
Technically,
what?
because I think it also hits things behind it.
Yeah, it's
So-
a full circle.
Wait, like
Wait,
Guardian.
front circle? It's not a 6 circle. I thought it was like 6, like 3 in front and 3 behind.
No,
No, I'm pretty
it's
sure
a
it'd be
range
6
of
in front. Yeah,
so
6 in front, 6 behind.
Oh,
Yeah.
I,
6 all the way
uh,
around.
We might have to ask Uncle Onage here to clarify, but as of the thinking right now,
It's
the
6 all the way
skeleton
around.
is the middle.
Yeah, skeleton's the middle. Yeah, it's 6 all the way around. Yeah.
All right, so yeah,
Oh, it'd be
the thing is-
really good against statues. Yeah. If it was like
Not
if the
just-
statue was undefended, the
not
statue
just
would be
statues.
so good.
Oh, that's a good point.
Well, I'm just saying like statue doesn't kill it, so it's gonna really wreck statues.
This is a hard counter to the statue.
That is
yeah.
a very good
Oh,
counter to
I didn't
statues.
think
Yes,
about that.
I didn't think about it
My
either.
Rainbow deck is completely dead now.
It deserves it.
This card is like de facto going to see so much play in 2v2s because of the amount of minions get played, by the way.
Yeah.
Everything I
There's
read is
no
stronger
way
than
this
2v2.
card doesn't get played at all.
Yeah, this is a very interesting card. Rush, you are technically the most theory craft heavy among us, so I want to hear your opinion next.
This card looks incredibly powerful. Like, just get this card, remove Warrior from your deck, add this instead, because it's quite good at just like dueling and holding bridges. It's really tanky like a Warrior is, but then it adds so much utility against really like strong, healthy units like Blue Golem or Living Statue, as you said. So I expect a nerf to this card in the near future. I'm not sure exactly how much because I haven't played with or against it yet, but
Yeah, played.
yeah,
so
just
we
looking
can't
at
say
its
just
stats,
yet.
it seems really, really strong.
Yeah. Izo, your favorite deck is affected by this. Talk about it.
No, my favorite deck has been out of the meta for a while now. I kind of like it. I think it's an interesting card. I agree that it completely overshines the Warrior, for instance, but Warrior has been also pretty much out of the meta for a while, so I'm not sure that's really relevant. I would.
What? I don't think
Well-
she's out of the meta.
No,
Kind
you
of
kind of
is, right?
bounces in and back and forth, I think. Don't you guys agree?
Well, what decks do you see it in? Well, maybe I don't play
Stormbringer
enough to...
Control.
My
I
decks.
see it in,
My
I see it in a red.
decks.
I see it in Darian, in particular Darian's red golem. Like,
Okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong then.
Just
I don't
balancing
know.
it out. It's not a mainstay.
Okay, then maybe that's just me that doesn't see it. I like. Yeah, I think that's a really good counter to very big unit. I think it's going to be a very good card specifically for Murder, not only because it's a kind of good res target, but also because you have the Murder attack that is really good at killing Swarm, and then you have this card that is really good at killing big minions. So defensively, it's going to be really good for him, especially if you add a wall, for instance, and make the fight really a long, drawn-out fight. I haven't got it yet, so I cannot test it, but I like it.
Yeah. All right. Tengs, you're up next. What do you think of it?
Well, I'm gonna just start with saying that like in 1 or 2 months, there's gonna come a 4-mana version of this card that hits air.
Good.
But other than that, I like the design. I love the design. Maybe it feels a little bit too much value for 3 mana. Like it counters heavy minions, but it also like what you touch on mid-range minions. It's
Yeah,
gonna
mid-range minions also
like,
gonna suffer.
it's guaranteed 20% damage, and you put it in a blob, and you guaranteed to hit 20% on everything in the blob. I feel it's like power creep in disguise. Like I love it. I get where it's coming from, but maybe the curse should only be applied to what it hits. Like I don't know. And then when it dies, it lingers because now it's AOE constantly. I don't know. I'm scared of this card, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Ken, you give your opinion. Oh wait, no, Ken. He already gave his opinion. I'm dumb.
Yeah.
Did I go through everyone? Yes, I did. It's my turn, right? I don't know what I feel like. I feel like I like the fact they're taking risk in design. Like, this is a very risky card to print out, don't you guys think? Because of like how good it looks on paper.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think pretty much what makes or breaks this card is going to be entirely in the math.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Maybe you
Oh,
can
yeah.
remove the lingering curse and then it gets countered by cleaver and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I
if
mean,
Cleaver,
yeah, even with the
if you have-
lingering curse, Cleaver doesn't take much damage from it.
Well,
It's not a
It
lot.
still has to stay in it. It has to stay in it, so you can probably
Yeah.
send a unit to go back in. Like, this is something that's going to need a lot of testing.
But it's so easy to force Evos to stay in place, right?
But it doesn't do that much damage to the Cleaver. It's only gonna be 20%. 20% is not that
20%
much.
Is quite a bit, actually. 20% of a Cleaver is like, what, so 500?
It still has a lot of
like,
HP.
55.
Like I'd
It's
rather just play
100.
Swarmers on the
It's
Cleaver and let it
110.
die, and that's cheaper mana. Like,
Remana to do 1/5 of the health. That's not worth it. So it's not good against Cleaver.
yeah, I definitely didn't feel like it was good against Cleavers. I played it, and Cleavers was
Probably
kicking my
not, but,
butt.
like, I feel like we have to see. because
I
this
mean,
is a
okay,
card
it's good
that-
against Cleavers if the Cleavers focus on something else, but a Cleaver going into it, that you're fine with your Cleaver hitting this in the face. It's not a big deal to your Cleaver.
Again, I
But
think- Or do you what?
yeah, go Whelps. No, I'm just gonna say go Whelp. My Whelp invasion deck is gonna be
Yeah,
super
go-
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, to be really
it's
good
gonna be
against
good
this
until
thing,
they
and
make a card that efficiently kills Whelps, which clearly ain't
Well,
happening
yeah,
anytime soon.
No, it's not.
Nope. Gotta keep Whelp strong. Gotta make
Whelps
sure
are too
Whelp stays
strong.
Alright, so yeah, I think that this card is gonna just come down to the mat. It's gonna come down to people playing it. We're gonna have to see, because I feel like there's a lot of potential with this card. At the same time, I'm proud they printed such a card that could be deceptively really strong, and we wouldn't know until we had a lot of players test it. And with that, let's move on to the card that got
Wait.
spoiled yesterday.
Can I shoot in one last thing that I just
Sure.
noticed?
Shoot.
It doesn't say current health or max health. I just want to say it, but I'm guessing it's
It's
max
max.
health.
It's max,
It's
Max,
yes.
like the
Yeah.
Cursed is
effect
a
on the-
cursed is an
on the
effect
ghost.
that's been in Wild. Alright, so this card got spoiled yesterday. Some players found it in their decks randomly after the servers went up.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently it got put in their decks because
Huh.
Magic.
Man.
This is the
Magic.
card that's apparently supposed to come out next week. I get to spoil it because someone else spoiled it. Alright, we got Bridge Buddies. It's a 2-mana spell that it spawns a Scrat on both bridges. So basically a Scrat pack. But if you own the bridge, you get an armored Scrat. Rush, I think you are the most when it comes to bridge control, you are the most experienced because gamer is just all about the XP anyway. what do you think about this?
So, well, my first thought is it's always a pretty powerful effect to be able to spawn things where you're not supposed to. And in this case, I'm not quite clear about where the scraps spawn, but I'm guessing like they're right in the middle.
It's the
of
very
bridge.
middle, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, in that case, considering like the opponent might be having like a blue or red golem crossing over the bridge, and then like might put some puffs behind it, you can use those to spawn a scrat behind the golem and have it killed both puffs before the opponent can really do anything about it. And that's pretty good. I mean, you could just use Shock Rock instead, but this would like
Give you both
actually
bridges.
give you bridge control for even just a brief moment.
I want to
And
jump in
also
here real
An
quick
actual fighting unit if you have the other bridge.
and
That's,
state
okay,
that I
let's
did not even think about this being a card that instantly could go and kill Puffs. That's kind of it's like you playing Puffs? Nope, dead. I like that.
Bad
That's
Puff.
funny.
Alright,
More
Rush,
Puff hate cards.
Yes, more Puff
Rush.
hate.
Oh, that's a really good point. You know what this card counters? This is
What?
a huge answer to Demon Warrior deck. Because they'd always
Can't
try and
use
play a
heal
healing
puff.
puffs behind the Demon Warrior. You play Bridge Buddies and you just take it out.
Yep, that's true.
I
That-
just
that- that is-
look at what you said.
Yeah.
So,
So
Rush,
anyways.
continue on. Let Rush talk.
Yeah. So, as for actual like bridge control, I don't think this is like the greatest spell for just the cases where enemies have both bridges and you want them both back. Because I mean, spending 2 mana to try and do that, but is kind of good. But the opponent can, if they already have minions on the bridges, those scrats are gonna do nothing. They're just gonna die immediately.
Yeah.
So you have to time this well. But that said, like, this is better in Scrap Pack in the cases where you often do have the bridges, because now you're getting an armored Scrat on both bridge, and that's a unit that can actually fight kinda okay-ish. So, whereas like a regular Scrat
A regular Scrat's just born to die, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless you get 10 of them at once, then they might be able to do something. But so yeah, pretty decent card. I'm excited to try it out. I don't think it's too strong, but I think time will tell if it's too weak or just right. So
Remember, this is a 2-mana spell with Milloween as well.
Yeah,
So
I love
Milloween
it
also
from
gets
Milloween.
another cycle thing.
Wait,
to
it's
add
a
to
spell?
it.
Yes, it's a spell.
It's a spell.
Oh shit!
It's a spell.
What did you think it was?
I thought it was a unit. That's probably my bad. I probably should have specified in the slide.
Yeah, you
My
should.
bad.
Yeah,
It's fine.
okay. I'm gonna run 3 of these in Milloween. Let's go.
Let's go. Get those double armored scraps on the field. Let's go.
Yep,
So yeah,
because the issue is that
burn away
Milloween
that
always
mana.
struggles with bridge control.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy now.
So yeah, this is and that's why we can't really completely judge the Milloween changes, because they kind of also made with this card in mind. They already had this card like apparently planned out according to FDM. So yeah,
You really trust FDM?
I trust FDM enough.
I trust FDM to break things.
All right, so Gamer, you got to play with it, I guess, through Steven. So you're
Against
next.
it, yeah. I definitely think it's an interesting card. I don't think it'll see much play outside of Milloween and Setsu, though. I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like you'd just rather play a Scrap Pack.
You don't think
but-
Volko or KP would want this?
I mean, maybe, but I'm not sure. Like, you can still just play a Scrap Pack and save a mana if you're just gonna grab the bridges. It takes slightly longer to grab the bridges, but
No, but this is guaranteed to grab you rather than the Scrap Pack if it gets stopped.
yeah, but I mean, if the Scrap Pack gets stopped, this would get killed instantly too, and they're gonna have the bridges back. So like, I guess, like, say that you're waiting on things to pass, you can get them a little quicker with this, I guess, but I just don't. I don't know. I'm not sure if we'll see much play outside Setsu and Milo. I definitely think it is a big reason, or I think it was planned with this Milo change in mind for sure.
All right, so Can, since you already were popping off earlier, I want to hear you pop off more. What's your opinion?
Overall, I kind of like Milloween. I'm not really sure on my overall opinion of this card. I think it's definitely a card we're going to have to wait a week and see in practice in order to properly understand where it lies on the spectrum right now. But I think it's a bold move to print this card, like a card that instantly takes the bridges, because we've had problems with cheat cards that instantly take bridges before, like seedy old crossbow dudes. The big reason that got nerfed to a count of 2 instead of 3 is because Volkers just instantly snap the bridges back in their favor. So, we're really going to have to see how this turns out.
Ankus, the delay is like under a second. It's really fast.
Yeah.
I'll send you a clip later
Yeah.
from Gamer Stream where we played it, but I don't have the clip on me right now. So let's talk to Tengs, because this is a spell. This is Milloween. This is something you probably want.
Yeah, I've been missing, like, after they nerfed Infusion beyond all comprehensions, and now they touched on Black Hole, we're starting to lack 2 mana spells. That gives you a quick cycle.
Call to arms.
Yeah. Screw you.
Spammable 2 mana spells.
Yeah, so I'm happy, but I'm also scared of this card. That I'm guessing someone like, I don't know, maybe Gamer or someone else, Darian, finds a way of using it in APEP and use it beyond all comprehension or something like that. Maybe Palace, I don't know. something
You're
scary is
using
gonna
it-
come out of this.
They're using
And it's not gonna
they're
be
using it for
Milloween.
the armored scrats. They're not
Yeah.
using it for the bridge control. They're using it to get an armored scrat. Oh, think
Yeah,
about it. It's 2 mana, 2 armored scrats
Yeah,
on
but
2 boat bridges.
It's the same with
If you
for
own the
armored
building.
scrats.
Yeah.
3 mana for 3. It's the exact same value.
But this is
Yeah.
cheaper.
But you don't get them together, and you get them on the bridge. It's no, just no. But I'm waiting for someone to abuse it somehow.
We'll see.
I'll try my best.
Rush is
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
try
play
his
it too.
best, apparently. So, Ezo, this is a scrat card. You love scrats. What's your opinion?
Well, it's definitely a scrat that is not going to be played in Radbot X. That I really like it for Milloween. I think 2 or 3 off in the Milo deck will really help it, especially for bridge control, as has been mentioned. She's historically been bad at this. Just, yeah, on its own, I'm really happy I'm pretty sure it's going to have an interesting impact in the game. I just wish Xiaolong gets changed already, so I don't feel bad about
Along's not
having
getting
so
changed
many-
anytime soon!
I want it to be.
No! No! The more we can delay
You
this...
just gotta be patient, guys.
Yeah, but
No.
sometimes you can.
No.
So no, yeah, I really like the card. As Rush pointed out, it's really interesting to
Man!
heal the
You know what I just realized?
the puffs. Yeah.
I just realized something. Getting this for free on APA might be really good.
Oh,
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Well, it's also that
Apep
against...
kind of got a good buff here because he can't get Black Hole from his perk 1, but he can get this.
Oh,
Got some changes. Got like a nerf, a buff. It's a change.
Anyway, sorry, Tengs, keep going. I cut you off.
No, it's Ezo talking.
Oh,
It's
is he-
Ezo!
Oh, and it wasn't you, it was Sasha that cut me off. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
No, I was pretty much done with it. I think it's really a Milo card. I don't think it will see much play in other decks, but
2
maybe it
mana
will.
for Setsu that gets you bridge control.
I think Setsu can, because of the spell, the reload. 2 mana reload. There's a lot less spells now that are 2 mana. And by a lot less, I mean
Yeah,
only
but
1.
that's-
So,
Yeah, maybe
well,
Setsu,
Cult
you're
Arms,
right.
but you can't. Cult
Could be.
Arms doesn't exist, so.
it's gonna be complicated to get off of a huge present.
Unexistent
Zero
card.
mana, take the bridges. That's insane value.
Man, 0 mana take bridges. Oh boy.
I mean,
Oh, can you imagine how disgusting this card's gonna be in draft mode? I just thought of that. This is gonna be nuts in draft because people don't really have cards to take bridges back that quickly.
yeah, taking bridges in draft for cheap is really good. So it
Taking
could
bridges in
be a
draft's
good
like
card.
what wins you the game.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
No, Uncle, this was not hacked. This was apparent. This was just in Steven's deck when he opened the game. This was a bug.
Blame FDM.
Blame FD.
It's not Steven's fault. He just found it in his deck. Like legit, apparently.
Ban Steven.
So-
Hacked.
Uncle is gonna hold on to this theory of hacked. Okay, so let's end. That's it, I guess. Let's hear some like quality of life things. I assume there's some things you might want to point out from the quality of life that you might have liked. Anyone want to go first?
Yeah, I will. KingPuffCup's dead forever. Kaz has an actual ping now. We're screwed.
Uh-oh.
Just remember that we all know how good Kaz is, and he's been playing on a 2-second delay for like a whole year.
He's also playing on a
The
touch
fact
screen.
that his ping's actually good now terrifies me, because I honestly think he might be the best player in the game.
Challenge accepted.
The Russian ping.
KingPuffCup's just got a whole lot more
He's gonna-
interesting.
When can we see the best of 15, Rush? Versus
The
Kaz?
Iron Man. You've both got a team with a deck for every master, and you got to play through them until someone loses all their masters.
Oh boy. Again. So, anyone else have any things they want to point out? I really like that ping thing that affected me too.
I mean, no one's mentioned it, but spectating, come on, amazing.
Yay!
Like, yes,
That's
finally,
nice.
let's go.
That's good for KingPuffCup.
It is.
Honestly, I can't cast without spectating because of the time zones right now. So it's huge for me. I might be able to start casting again, which I'm looking forward to.
God
Alright.
damn it.
Yes, do your jobs.
It makes it harder for me to cast, that's for sure. So, second, there was a change I was thinking about. Oh yeah, we have pings now in 2v2 in every game mode. You can ping versus the AI if you want.
I really would like that to be changed from alt.
It?
No, you can't mute it. You can't mute the pings. If you try to alt tab, it pops up as well.
Yes, please change it off of alt.
Get rid of the alt tab thing, please.
Yes.
I don't like that.
Change it off of alt.
Please.
Alt should not be the ping button.
Is there a spam protection? I'm just asking.
Yes, there is
I would
spam
hope so.
protection, but it's actually pretty limited. Like I think you only spam 6 times before it stops you.
Okay.
I've been enjoying the ping feature a lot in TV2s because that's like my main mode right now.
Yeah, but
I
people
think
are
it's
just kind
nice
of
to
playing
actually have some communication. Although I wish we were able to ping cards like someone brought up on the Discord before. Can't remember who it was, but they brought up we should have to ping cards because yeah, let's just say when the enemy plays a healing shrine and my friendly Volko doesn't use his shock rock on it immediately, I get a bit annoyed. Just
Everyone
a
gets
tiny
annoyed.
bit. And I'm pinging the attack on it, and he just doesn't listen.
Yeah, but
Maybe he has another plan in mind.
that's what I was saying. Like the pings wouldn't help people anyway, because they know what card they have to play and where to play it, right? So yeah, I think things need to be adjusted in general because they're kind of wonky right now. You get to ping against the AI, so you get to DM the AI with your pings. I guess.
I don't think they can see it. So
yeah,
it's a superficial thing.
yeah.
But, we get
Go ahead.
watch and win again. Yay! With supplies. Yay!
Yeah,
yeah,
people have been asking for that.
That a lot of people have been asking for supplies
now
back.
I feel sad because now we don't get keys for new players that.
That too, yeah, because there's no keys on the Alienware anymore.
And
Granted, the game should be going like out of beta fairly soon, I believe. Still,
I believe they were aiming for the start of 2018.
yeah, like early is what the last I'd heard. That's what
Also,
they're
we're
playing.
about to go into winter sale, and Minion Marts are always dirt cheap on those.
Yeah,
$1.
quarter. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, $1.
Game never
I know the
leaving beta.
rate goes, but
Feels
Another
bad.
tiger bug.
So yeah, I guess that's enough of like small changes. I guess we have to close the show here. Okay, I guess there's one more thing I have to ask. State of the game. Where do you think the game? How do you feel about the state of the game currently, guys? Let's start with you know what? Just because I always do it to him, let's start with Gamer.
Oh boy. State of the game. I mean,
Like, what do
it's
you
in a
feel
good
about the game
state.
right
I think it's in a good state right now. Like a lot of the things that were like, maybe the nerfs aren't exactly what they should have been or liked, but I mean the game's better off because they were nerfed. Some of these things. So, I think it's in a better spot than last patch, I guess. And then Spectate is a very important thing for the game to get. So.
All right.
I agree with Video Gamer.
Okay, Rush, go second then because you wanted to jump
Sorry.
in. Go ahead.
Quiet time, so I thought I'd jump in. But anyways, yeah, the game's definitely better than it was last patch. Definitely the black hole changes was big. The Milloween getting another sort of like hard counter bomb thing out of the game where you have to deal with this giant arcane golem. I'm glad that's gone. And just a bunch of good quality life changes. I like the little pings. I've been playing around with it a little bit in 2v2. I know I don't play 2v2 much, but when I have been, I'm like, yay, pings.
Hey, pings.
That's kind of good. So yeah, great patch. I'm very happy for this.
All right, let's talk to someone who's streamed a lot lately. Let's talk to Sprite.
well, I haven't streamed it this week, but last week's, yeah. I love this patch. I think obviously there's probably gonna need some more fine tuning on some of the changes done this patch, particularly to Milloween. I definitely think Milloween's gonna end up getting a few changes in the future. I'm very excited to try the Curse Bearer when I get around.
Now that you have it, I still have to go find it.
Yeah. The state of the game. I'm still having a lot of fun with it. I think Curse Bearer is going to be very fun to play around in 2v2s, which is my main stomping ground right now. trying to get the GM in that. So I think that's definitely going to help since most kids won't have that yet. They won't even know what it does.
They're gonna call you a hacker. They're gonna go. Oh, boy.
Why isn't my living statue work anymore?
Why does
something along
Colossus
those lines.
dying in 17 seconds?
Killing my big minions slowly.
And surely. Alright. Tengs. I'll leave it up.
Yeah.
I'll leave Ezo last because he's Ezo and he's always here. So you're next, Tengs.
All right. Yeah, Milloween. I'm not too excited. Like, it's good, I think, but it's not like, yeah, I'm gonna sit down and play Milloween for 12 hours. But that being said, I'm gonna finish on I'm read on the Steam forums. Someone called B. Dot said unnecessary nerf to Black Hole.
It's hard to say because Black Hole is one of the cards that are a fan favorite because it's a very high skill.
I don't agree with him. I just wanted to say that. That's people think that, but yeah,
because,
move along.
Yeah, it's weird because it's very a high skill cap card. That that rewarded high skill, but at the same time it might have been too good. We don't know. Again, the consensus here was it was kind of we're not sure what to think of it just yet. So Ezo, you're the last one. State of the game. What's your thoughts?
I like the changes to Ghost Turret, Beam of Doom, and Black Hole because I felt like those allowed some either interaction or strategies that I feel were undesirable for the game. So I'm glad those changes were made. I really like the Milloween rework except for perk 3, and I still think Xiaolong should be changed. That's pretty much it.
God dang it! No, stop this.
Oh, I have one more thing I need to bring up. This patch
What?
actually sucks. Doesn't have Captain Snappy added to the game.
Captain Snappy. We need
Why
more
isn't he
Scrat
in here?
leaders. More Scrat leaders.
We
Hashtag
need
Scrat
another
right.
Scrat leader.
Ezo wants this. Okay, so I guess we have to thank some people right now. Anyone have some plugs they want to do before I have to do my own plugs?
What's
Do you want to plug their Twitter?
I'm gonna plug KingPuffCup. Good luck everyone in the Conquest tournament tomorrow. I'll be looking forward to that one.
You know, Gamer, this is the time you can plug your stream.
Everyone here knows about my stream. Why would I need to plug it?
Just in case.
I'm pretty sure most of the people here know which stream is.
It's okay, it's fine, alright?
Plus, I don't need any
recognize
more
most of the
followers
names in
anyways.
chat.
No more followers anyways. So we don't want to plug the stream. Bad idea.
We don't want followers. Don't follow us.
Yes, please don't. Everyone here
Alright,
unfollow
so
my
now-
stream. Okay, thanks.
Okay, sellout time over. We have to thank I have to thank the KingPuffCup guys for letting me run the show here. We plan to hopefully do this weekly from now on, if I can. We'll have to see. We're gonna try, but yeah, plan is to move on to a weekly show, and yeah, I guess with this I can close the KingPuffCup roundtable. I guess we can call it that now, the KingPuffCup roundtable for today. Thank you everyone for coming. My name was Sinilil, Sasha Banks, whatever you want to call me. And I hope to see you again next time, whenever we get to do this again.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Close the stream, game.